That's the funny thing. But like in Star Trek Online, your ship starts to react to being very close to being to a gravity well, and that's it for us in this starbase. See, because my corp is at war, or rather, my entire alliance is at war. And here's what happened. I plexed last night. Um, I had been unsubbed for probably. Oh wow, we're ever come out and there's a badger, and you're like, hey, that badger's the same size as me. Nope, that's a little ship compared to an apocalypse. NPC, as you can tell by the crosshair that's on it, it's just a retailer. Really of no use or interest to anybody in high security space. So we'll head on to Paye. Hey there, folks. So, while you've just been watching me come out of I believe it was Shesh's starbase and start heading in warp to the nearest jump gate to head to Paye. Um, we're gonna flash forward because that happened like 2 days ago. But what's going on right now is what I want to do in the middle of like say 2 3 minute clips, then do something else, then 2 3 minute clip, and then something else, and so on, to kind of break it up and not to really leave you hanging with the video game footage that I'm actually trying to make into like a real story, using real events and things and conversations that Allegal has or I have through Allegal with other players. So what I'm trying to do is set it up so that all the old footage is there and we work through it in 3 to 5 minute chunks. But in between those chunks is opportunities to say, hey, you've been watching Galactic Resource Development in a development, developing story kind of thing. So what's been going on as backstory for this character is I'm actually doing this because in 2014, I'm going to play Allegal as not just the character Neve, but I'm going to play Allegal as a character on my own YouTube show that I'm going to call Galactic Resource Development. And I'm going to try and be as corporately anal as possible in the depiction of it once I get rolling. I mean, right now we're just kind of like in, hey, this is what we can do mode. But what I want to do with it is sort of create a kind of reality movement where pilots, if it isn't already in existence, I'm sure somewhere it is. And in that case, I'm just going to add my part to it. And that's to come in and simply talk about the game, talk about what goes on, what I do, try to get other people involved. And in that case, I'm just going to add my part to it. And that's to come in and simply talk about the game, talk about what goes on, what I do, try to get other people involved. And in a sense, I would suggest you to pay attention to what goes on in chat if I show a chat window, because it's kind of telling. It's kind of like fiction mixed with reality, mixed with fiction, mixed with reality, because, well, let me just have this conversation and then I'll try to explain what I'm thinking of, unless you kind of arrive there yourself and want to talk about it in the comments. But I'm going to make my Eve account a real live, not real live, but not yet, but because I'm having trouble with Twitch. Twitch doesn't exist for Mac yet, I guess. I don't know what the update on that is. But to try and bring sort of a kind of a fictional approach mixed with the reality of the game being real in the game kind of thing. And we're only going to follow Allegal for a few more minutes because I really don't want to eat up a whole lot of hard drive space on video that I'm not sure what I'm going to do with just yet. But also because where he's going is like 15 plus jumps away, and I plan on APing it in an apocalypse. And that, I'm sure if you're familiar with the game, you know that we're looking at like a 45-minute trip, and I want to try and edit what I'm doing right now. See, I think if used the right way, and I think people are using it the right way even more, um, Eve can be a great entertainment tool. And screen capping and editing it, and what I want to do with it is make it an epic story that, as long as I can do it, as long as I have the iMac, the Eve account, I think this is going to be my thing for 2014, wherever it goes. And by what I mean by pay attention into my chats is that I'm going to tell Allegal's story to other players through chat. And Allegal's story is real because it actually happened in the game. But because the game isn't real life, it's kind of like it's a kind of a fiction, but it's not because it really happens. But anyway, I'm